right, so we've got Jay Phillips back with us. We're gracious enough to come back for a bit of a bonus here. And in this episode, we're talking about allergies. And so we didn't get into this in your interview, but you experienced some allergies with your first, right?
Yep. So Peanut, which is a funny name now in hindsight, had an egg allergy, like an actually very severe egg allergy. And so...
Now, how did you discover that? Like, what did...
Yeah, so there's a lot of things like that in my family, either like specifically allergies, food intolerances, or like related immune issues like asthma, eczema, autoimmune disease. It's all kind of in the same boat medically. And so we knew going in to be on the watch for it. So we took like a food class on how to introduce food to kids and called Solid Starts. And one of the big things I talked about was food allergies. And they kind of described the best way to introduce food and kind of keep an eye out for allergies. And they're like, these are the 9 major allergens. You want to give each allergen 4 times. And once you've given it 4 times with no reaction, then you kind of can consider it in the clear. And given the family history of all of that, we're going to be very serious about this. And so we had a chart on the fridge. That was just all 9, and we did it with both kids. All 9 allergens with boxes for the 4 dates.
What are the 9?
See if I can remember them all off the top of my head. Gluten, dairy, eggs, sesame, soy, finned fish, shellfish.
Nuts? Did you say
nuts? Oh, peanuts and then tree nuts. Yeah,
okay.
Those are the ones.
Boom.
I think I hit all
well
9.
done.
Those are the 9. So for our listeners, those are the 9 you gotta watch out for.
And so we went through kind of one by one. I tried to do the ones that were more important in terms of what we normally eat. So we did like gluten and dairy kind of first off, and then eggs. And so the first time, no issue. Second time, no issue. Third time, no issue. And to preface, allergic reactions are usually like, you eat food, you have a reaction right away. It's like within minutes. It's not like a delayed kind of thing.
You know if you're having an allergic reaction to something.
Gave it the 3rd time, no issue. Gave it the 4th time, no issue. Checked it off, crossed it off on the list.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It was lunchtime, we played for his whole wake window, put him down for a nap, and he always took a 2-hour nap. Like, every single day of his life, this was a 2-hour nap. 45 minutes in, he woke up absolutely screaming like he was in pain. And I go in and I pick him up, I rock him, I'm like, what is going on? And he cries for probably like 10 minutes and then just like settles down and is just like, seeming just like something was a little off. And I was like, oh, he's 6 months old, he could be getting sick, like,
sure,
whatever. He's a little fussy, so I put him in the stroller, we go for a walk. We're probably a couple of minutes from home, and he just projectile vomits everywhere, like, and not just like projectile.
Oh, really?
All over the sidewalk, all over himself, all over everything. And so I called Zach and I was like, I'm on my way home. He is puking. He's sick. We're gonna have to deal with this. And he's really tired. And we get home and he's just like, can barely keep him awake, lethargic. But I'm like, he took a short nap. He's tired. He's throwing up. Of course he's tired.
You just never know with them. You never know what's going on. It was
weird. I was like, he's tired, but this is weird. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we don't have much experience with kids other than him. So I was just like, I don't really know. So I called the nurse line and I'm like, this is kind of what's going on. And they're like, he's just sick. He's tired because he's sick. As long as you can wake him up, you can physically get his eyes to open, you don't need to worry. He's just sick, whatever. And so I'm holding him and just kind of going through it as if he's sick. He'd stopped throwing up. It was just like once they threw up and then that was done. And I was like, okay, he's just sick. He'll get over it by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that made me think this is weird is within about 3 hours, he perked right back up. He was like, repowering. Like, and it was funny because like as soon as he could move, had gotten off my lap and was like playing, but like so lethargic, just like, oh. But then he like just perked back up back to his normal self. And I was like, that's fast.
Right.
I mean, I know kids recover faster, but that's really fast. But we asked it up at the next pediatrician appointment. They're like, yeah, there's no concern. Allergies are right away.
Yeah.
You know, you've given it to him 4 times. You don't need to be concerned.
So, like, all of this, because, like, I mean, in other episodes with you and with other people, we've talked about how, like, we're, like, expressing a problem to a doctor, and they're just like, all of this feels like the right response from the doctor at this point. Like, there's nothing, I feel like, that all makes sense to me. Like, it wasn't automatic. Kids do throw up. I mean, kids get rashes, they get fevers.
Yeah, kids are weird.
And then they're fine. Yeah, so.
And so we go forward, everything, you know, I assume everything's fine. I make him eggs again. And I fed him eggs. I'm trying to remember. I don't think he took a nap because he had a doctor's appointment. So we were at the doctor, and he was just, I'm trying to remember. He had been screaming and crying, and then stopped and was just kind of again. And I was like, this seems familiar.
Yeah, let's get a trash can.
So he got his flu shot or whatever, and we were on the way home, and he puked.
Okay.
And I, being the anxious first-time parent, I was like, he's gonna choke! And pulled over and had Zach come meet us, and we literally left one of the cars there and just drove home, and Zach made sure he didn't choke in the 2 minutes that I would work in the house. And so we get him home, and it was the exact same thing. Like, and the same, like, screaming in pain, 20 minutes of just, like shell-shocked puking, lethargic for 3 hours, and then came back. And I was like, that is too specific, and it is tied to eggs.
Yeah.
And so we stopped eggs, obviously, and went to the allergist. And then, I called, so CHOP is the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, is, like, the big children's hospital in the area. And so I called them. They're like, oh, yeah, we can get you in a year and a half. And I was like,
oh, my gosh.
So
a year and a half.
Yes.
That's
wild.
So I found another guy. It was just
but
like
healthcare
a regular.
Is so good in the United States. We have excellent healthcare.
He was just a regular allergist. It wasn't pediatric specific, and we were able to get in.
Right.
And so they do a scratch test, and so they basically take the allergen on a needle and scratch your back, and so there's the test with the egg, and then the control, which is just a needle that scratches you. And they're like, okay, we're going to wait 10 minutes and we're going to see if there's a reaction. And being a scientist, I can read experimental and control on his back very easily.
Yeah.
Experimental is blowing up like a balloon, and the control is doing nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that he's allergic to eggs. And so they were like, yep, just don't give him eggs. Here's an EpiPen. And they're like, they asked like what his symptoms were. And the fact that it was delayed was very stressful for me. But they're like, the fact that he's throwing up and he's lethargic, it's like those are 2 different systems being involved. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's so lethargic is actually, that's considered anaphylactic. Like, normally you think of anaphylaxis as like your throat closing. Yeah. But it's the medical definition is actually much more broad than that. And it's anything that's like, basically like a life-threatening thing.
Oh, okay.
And so what's happening is his blood pressure was dropping to dangerous levels.
Oh, God.
And he could just, like, his blood pressure crater and, like...
And that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so it was actually... we didn't, at the time, we're not nervous, because we're like, he's just tired. But it was like, actually, it is a very dangerous situation.
Wow.
So, they're like, if he shows any signs, you give the EpiPen.
Right.
They're like, you don't want to wait, because it can get to a point where it doesn't... it's not as effective. Yeah. And so it's like... He has eggs, you give the EpiPen.
Right.
I'm like, okay. But the thing that was scary was, like, if it was right away, if the reaction was right away, I would give him something for dinner and not worry about it, because if something was wrong, you would know right away.
Right.
But 2 hours, he could be in bed.
Yeah.
Having a blood pressure drop and not
you'd have no
know.
idea, yeah.
Because it's not like he's going to wake up and cry.
Right.
We don't know that. And so I got... I was
I've never heard of that happening.
It's just like I looked into it, and it's like just a less common variation, like significantly less common. And so for breakfast, I wasn't as concerned because if there was an issue, he was awake.
Right.
But lunchtime is right before nap. Dinner time is right before bed. And so like if we went out to a restaurant, it was a long time before I even asked for stuff. I would bring it, and eventually, if he did order at a restaurant, I was like, I want a burger cooked alone with cheese, no bun, because sometimes bread can have egg in it, and steamed broccoli. That's all I would order for him at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because I was so worried. Because, like, there was one time I made eggs, washed my hands, not super well, just, like, rinsed them off, and then made him food, and he had a reaction.
Wow.
And so he was very, very sensitive. And so was so scared to give him anything for so long.
Yeah.
And like I even having
tough.
other people cook for him, like I would drop him off with my family to babysit and be like, this is the food. It is cut up, just microwave, give to him. Don't like wash your hand. Like I was so cautious about it. And one thing that really helped was right before he moved, he did have an egg exposure and had the reaction, and the doctor ended up giving him the EpiPen because we weren't far from the hospital, and it turned it around so fast. He was like out of it, barely awake. They injected his leg, and within seconds he was like back to normal. Like not back to normal, but like, we still had to be there for 4 hours for observation. He had like heart monitors all over him. It was like a whole thing. But seeing how well it worked made me a lot less anxious.
Right.
And so there was that. So that after that, it became more like, if he gets exposed, we have to give an EpiPen, and then we have to go to the ER, and then we have to be there for 4 hours under observation. Yeah. That's like, he's going to be fine. That's really annoying.
Yeah.
That's like a real time.
That's your day.
And it's probably going to interfere with nap and bedtime and like be a ridiculous amount of money because it's the emergency room. And so after that, it was less about worrying about his health and more just being like, this is really inconvenient.
Really inconvenient.
But yeah, so I think 6 months after he was originally diagnosed, and it was about 9 months by the time we were able to get in to the doctor. So we're now at 15 months. We go in, they do the scratch test, it comes back negative. And so they were like, you're just going to come in every 6 months and do the scratch test, and when it comes back negative, then we can look into further testing. Yeah. Came back negative. Blood work, which getting blood drawn on a 15-month-old is miserable. No, thank you. Came back negative. And so they did, they reintroduced the egg. And so the way you do that is you go to the doctor's office, and this is like 4 hours, and you bring egg, and they give them like a speck. And they wait half an hour. And then you get 2 specks. Then you wait half an hour. Oh. And so it's over 4 hours, they like slowly increase what you're giving them. And we go through that. No issue. Doesn't have a reaction. Okay. And so we go home. We give him egg. No reaction. We give him egg. No reaction. We give him egg. 4th time. Comes back.
What? No way.
Yeah. And so it's like the same thing as the first time. The 4th time, and it was different this time. It was right away. He was eating, and partially because I gave him like a plate of eggs. And it was screaming in pain, hives all over his mouth, throwing up, and then lethargic. And that was, we weren't far from the hospital, and that's when they ended up giving the EpiPen. We were like in there, and they gave it. And they're like, okay, cut it out again. And I was like, how are we ever going to have him test out of this?
Right.
If he passes this test, and it's the 4th time. And so it was like 3 weeks before we moved. And so we're like, this is a problem for future Zach to deal with. And so we just didn't deal with it for a while. And once we were settled in more, we got referred to Dartmouth. And they're like, okay, so they're like, you did the reintroduction with like scrambled eggs. So it's like, there's a difference between baked eggs and scrambled eggs based on how the cooking works. And I honestly don't even remember the details of why. But they're like, so we're going to start with a baked egg challenge, like in a cupcake. So they're like, here's a recipe, follow this recipe and bring it in. And so we went back, and 4 hours with a 2-year-old in a hospital room, it's not fun.
Now when you did the reintroduction, you did it with scrambled eggs.
The first time, yeah.
And so when the second time, and when you were feeding him,
it was scrambled eggs. Yeah.
But he had allergic. But he didn't have allergic reaction. Didn't have it, and then had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we did baked eggs as the reintroduction, which was like the little muffins, and he was very excited to be eating muffins. So that, yeah, but he was also he was potty training, and so we had like the little like potty chair. We brought it with us into the hospital room. I'm sure they were like,
why?
Yeah. But it was a pediatric office, so they're like,
I love that.
And he passed, and we went home, and I was like, it took 4 times last time for him to react again. I'm like, I am not gonna feel comfortable until we do this 10 times. Yeah. And so I had a thing on the fridge. Check, made it all the way through 10, and then I was a little bit less worried about it. Okay. But I don't remember the exact details, but the criteria for it to be considered baked egg and have it undergo the right chemical modifications or whatever, it's pretty specific about the temperature you need to bake it at, how long, and I mean, like, cookies are always better a little underdone. Yeah. And even like muffins and like things like that. And so the only baked egg I felt comfortable giving him was the recipe from the hospital if I made them. Right. And so we just gave that to him every couple days just to keep him on track. He was 2.5 is that right? No, he was a little younger than that. I don't even remember. It was before Jelly was born. And then right after she was born, like a month after, they had scheduled a scrambled egg reintroduction. And Zach did that. I was just like, I have a baby. I can barely walk. Like, you can take him. And he passed. And so I did the same thing. I had a checklist of 10 on the fridge. He made it through 10. I still did not feel comfortable. And it probably wasn't until 30 times that he had them before I stopped worrying.
Right.
And he has been eating eggs ever since. But I spent so much of his life being like, don't eat that, it has eggs. Yeah. That he, shockingly, didn't like eggs. And so I had to, like, this is like, or I was like, yeah, I did this one well. And so I made, like, these little, like, omelet circles. We had this, like, tiny little pan. And I cut it off, and it made it the shape of a bridge. And then put ketchup on it. Like a little train, because he's, like, really into trains. And so it was an egg bridge with ketchup trains.
Okay. And
so it started by he would take his finger and lick the ketchup off the egg, like he's touching it.
Yeah.
And then one day he picked it up and licked it directly off the egg.
Yeah.
And then one day he took a bite, and now he eats eggs.
Nice.
And now he has no issue with it. We still have to put ketchup on them, but yeah. And now we eat eggs and mayo and all baked goods, whatever.
All stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that definitely makes you question, like, your own, you know, before you can fully trust that it's okay.
Yeah, it took a while, too. And, like, it was so hard, because when I was pregnant and, like, before, one of the biggest things I was excited about, I mean, you guys know I love food. And I love, like, going to a restaurant and, like, trying new things and sampling some of everybody's food and that, like, being, like, a bonding thing. So I had all these, like ideas of, like, taking him to a restaurant and having him, instead of getting him, like, a kid's meal, give him a little bit of mine and a little bit of Zach's and have him try all these things. That was, like, something I was so excited for. And then I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't trust anyone to cook for him. And so it wasn't until he was 2.5, maybe a little bit older, when I felt like we could actually do that. And I remember, I've forgotten now, but I took him somewhere and was like, this is the first time I can share it with him, and I can't remember what it was. That's too bad.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, but it was like this big
That's a lot of
moment where
work.
I felt like I could just, like, go and share it with him and it not be hard.
That's so awesome that he's fully
And
out.
so Jelly, we went through the whole process, and she has no allergies, which is just really
That's great.
nice. Which is just, like, such a big weight off. And I remember taking her when she was, like, maybe 7 or 8 months. We went to Sarducci's in Montpelier, and everyone's eating, and we were there for probably 2 hours, just because, you know, things take a while. And she just sat there quietly, just slowly eating her food, so excited the whole time. I was, like, giving her little bits of whatever, and she's like, da, 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 da. I was like, this is what I was so excited about. Yeah.